Yeah.
No, I mean,
Well,
it's for
from
pickup.
Phoenix to, yeah. And they said, well, they'll call you when it's ready to be picked up.
Hey, I am hitting the
go button.
Okay,
Just
it's 10 o'clock.
Where are you going?
we're going
we're
crazy.
going crazy. Let's go crazy.
Ray and Peggy are in there.
Nobody's with us.
Your laptop is your only computer at the house?
Yeah.
So your DNS is your update would have been on your laptop.
Yeah. So I was trying to get to the articles that you keep posting,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find out how to get
Well,
there.
you should be able.
Well, you should be able to open up that doc.
the
They're in your email.
the docs.
The docs are in your ability to get at the docs. They're not on the website. One of these
What I
days.
used to
See,
do
what I used to do
became
before this
overwhelming
became overwhelming
is I used to take
everything we did in class and
transpose
it into a web page
I don't do that
I don't
anymore.
do that
I just
anymore
don't have
because
that
I just
many
don't have that many hours in a day.
And so
And so
I guess what I should
do at some point is I should make links to all our doc on the website
because that's the only
real place to find that is in the documents. They yesterday evening you should have gotten mail talking about our
club
and
Your
No.
meeting.
No, and I know you tested me.
Yeah,
and
you
said
should.
I'm on there, but no.
Have you checked your spam folder?
Check my
'Cause
spam
it gets
sometimes it gets stuck in. I
because
mean,
I
it is
usually
a.
only get like 5 or 6 spam, so I check it to make sure that I don't have any weird.
all right, you got to know.
All right, you got to know we've already hit the play button.
We didn't realize we were late.
Jester's with us online.
I forgot my water.
Oh, my coffee.
No,
Yeah.
No, without coffee.
you definitely need
coffee.
Yeah. Let me see if mine's still there.
It was.
End up with.
Oh.
She doesn't get up early anymore.
Oh. Hey,
Whatever.
I was surprised.
No.
And then I
She's
saw you
here.
two in the car.
No.
She doesn't come to the computer.
And she doesn't even log on online.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Like she goes to a coffee shop and reads a book like a maniac. She's not on her phone.
I do that.
That's very
That's
suspicious.
very suspicious behavior. Not
through
scrolling through social media.
Oh, yeah.
Sound like my granddad.
I bet she doesn't even take her phone to the toilet with her, does she?
What do you think she is? Trump? She doesn't make 27 tweets. We're streaming live.
We are streaming.
We are streaming live with Toilet Talk here.
Wait, no, it's the San
This is the San Carlos Computer Club.
It's nice of you guys.
It's nice of you guys to join us. I don't know if you're aware of this,
but everything just
froze up on me.
I wonder why.
Well, we are now.
I didn't bring my phone. It didn't bring it.
What the hell
What the hell just happened?
Want a piece of
Nada.
paper?
No.
Well,
If anybody's
Good
thing we're in
listening
a
out
tech
there,
meeting, huh?
geez, everything is
It's a new computer for.
All right. I think
we're
back.
I think we're back.
Hopefully nothing.
Hopefully nothing will
freeze
freeze or
again, but
freezing,
we were.
but we were.
Because
Like a
we
microphone or
Because we
That's right.
can, that's right.
I think it's a camera.
But I think.
But I think
Oh, that's
what's-
a microphone. Everybody out.
the world's now listening to
yeah. Very nice.
Rap crap.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. This is all
All right,
working.
this is all
I don't know
working.
why that
I don't know why that was freezing before, but
we're
we're online.
Streaming to
We're streaming to internet.
I'm sorry?
Can you get a refill on your iced tea?
Sometime.
I have not opened the document that I sent out. I don't know if you guys have either.
No, but it was very weird because it made me sign into my Google account
Yeah.
to open it.
Never.
It's never done that.
That's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, very weird.
But you would definitely.
But you would
We didn't
definitely,
get it.
definitely.
yeah, you
Oh,
definitely
didn't
need
get
to
it.
be signed in if you want to
changes,
make
but
changes.
anybody
But
should be-
anybody should be
But I
able to see it.
Google just updated.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, it could be a Google thing.
Yeah.
Well, of course it's a Google thing. It's not my problem.
I didn't do
You hang in
it.
there,
It's not
girl.
my problem.
You're
It's Judy.
I did it. Yes.
I did it. Yes.
No, but it was very weird, and I was going, well, that's strange. Maybe I clicked on one of the other links in there. No.
No, it's not you. It's never.
Well,
us.
I think it's important just to note stuff like that, especially because what would you say? Google's just done.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't use Chrome as my
Yeah.
browser.
Yeah.
Of course,
Of course,
when you
another thing to think about is companies like Microsoft and Google
and Apple
and Apple make changes.
make
They just
changes.
make changes,
right and so,
Right,
like,
and
Right.
so like
changes
you got changes to
Chrome 2 days
Chrome
ago. That
2 days ago. That
they
doesn't
weren't
mean they weren't also making changes to
end
the
of the
back
Chrome
end of the
access.
Chrome access.
It's a conspiracy.
it's,
It's
you just don't know.
you just don't
Changes
know.
come
Changes
all the
come
time.
all the time. I was blown away 2 weeks ago. This old iPad that does not run anything more than iOS 15. You know, we're up at 17.
They're talking about
They're talking about 18.
That's an
Yeah.
Apple.
but it got a
security
and
update.
something
in the Apple world went, oh boy, we are going to be in trouble.
we don't push
If we don't push the security update to
product
this
that's
product
11
that's
years old.
11 years old.
something happened
Something
in
happened
We're
in
like,
Apple.
no,
We're like, no,
we have to include
we have
them
to
as
include
well,
them as well,
right
right?
that
Somebody made the decision to support that product
that far.
that far.
Because oftentimes they'll say we're no longer supporting.
Yeah, sure.
Their cutoff is typically 7 years. You get farther back
Good
than
old Apple.
they've got a different date, but
for their
desktop computers.
But that's
coming more in line with
They want you to
this. They want you to replace your desktop computers about the same time period.
But
they are constrained by California law
that they have
to maintain updates for 7 years.
So right now,
7 years is the cutoff
for anything
for anything over $100 in California. It's affecting our whole market.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you're
curious
Wow.
why Samsungs, you can buy Samsung phones now that
guarantee
you security updates for 7 years. It's
Yeah.
because they want to sell them in California.
California.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
California.
Thank you, California.
Yes.
And there's actually
what
what was the
was the
right to repair
right to
law
repair
that's
law that's going on right now?
There's
something. California
has this weird
has this weird effect because it is something like
some ridiculous
number of our population.
California
in itself could be
country.
a country. It's so large. It represents such a large.
And they've got
some other law.
I can't remember if it's
right to repair or electricity. I was just listening to it,
and it was
like they were trying to.
They're trying
to get the federal government
set these
to set
restrictions.
restrictions.
And
there are
liberals
because regulation is always a liberal
topic, right?
topic, right?
Not trying to
start anything. Conservatives never come up with
They
never come up with
regulations. It's always liberals that come up with regulations.
And
so there was a number of liberals that were voting against this at the federal level.
And
the justification for it was that
the lobbyists
of these big tech firms have gotten to the people that have created this, and they've put in
this
constraint that if we pass this federal law, it supersedes state laws.
And so
Google and Apple and Microsoft love this idea, and Facebook's definitely, and
the
crazy Nazi Twitter's in there too.
Oh, it's
They want regulation because they a yardstick. They've already made lots of money,
and so they
want to keep control over the competition that might exist. They love the idea of TikTok being banned and having to be resold because they're looking at that as incoming traffic into their network. So they're totally in favor of that, and they're in favor of this kind of regulation because new players can't get in and compete with them. They are subject to the new regulation.
And the
worst part about this,
because it
looks like what we would want, it is not as in depth as like California, Minnesota, Oregon's laws in these respects. And so by putting in, I guess this is kind of a poison pill, putting this in, saying that it supersedes the state laws.
They are basically
saying no. This is the yardstick now,
and the state
loses control over setting that yardstick. And you can see from the way that California's had such an effect on our technology that a state's ability to be more restrictive is better for overall consumers.
What are they calling that federally?
I don't remember.
I didn't even mean to be talking about it. I don't even have it in the list. I've been pulling all this stuff out of my butt. I'm really sorry.
I don't know what.
To write to somebody.
You know what it is.
I've spent a lot of time in the last week listening to all these arguments about the TikTok stuff that's going on. And another topic that I'm really not ready. I mean, I didn't give you an article or anything that I'm reading about, but I've just been following it the last week.
And
it's a weird place to be because everybody wants to talk about TikTok in China.
And we've talked
in the past that there's nothing going on there
that is any different
than what's happening to us with our US companies.
Facebook's
doing the same thing. Apple's doing the same thing. Apple.
I heard this
great argument the other day about Apple has to be considered doing the same thing, even though they're like it all stays on the device. Privacy and security is our thing. They have had a multi-billion-dollar contract with Google since the beginning to share your information with them for search results. Everything you do off your Apple phone, whether it's through Safari or Chrome, unless you've done something to change your default search, you're given all that information to Google. They are not keeping it in.
Isn't that why you should change to DuckDuckGo?
Well, it's one of the reasons you would.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why would you use those? I mean, that's been kind of.
Well,
actually,
why would you use those argument is really strong right now. If you're paying attention to the way Google search results have been popping out, you can get lousy search results from all over the internet. You don't have to stay with Google if they're going to continue to just manifest advertisements and try and poke you and prod you into buying stuff instead of actually generating results that are helpful. You don't have to stay there.
No.
I hate when I do a search and then it sends me to another search window, and that sends me to
I think the generative AI search results, there's some real promise in that.
I like
the idea of me being in control of that kind of stuff. I like dials being in front of me and authorizations having to be made. I don't like it just ginning up stuff in front of me. But then that sentiment caused me to go back and look at what's been going on, and they've been ginning up this stuff for 4 years. For 4 years now, their emphasis on using AI to help their search results goes back to the COVID years.
And it's one of the ones that you can change as your default browser too.
I like the
DuckDuckGo browser for one thing in particular. You can hit a flame button, and everything that may have been collected, any garbage that may have been collected in that browser is just gone. All the cookies, all the history.
Is it DUCK?
Yes, DuckDuckGo, the search engine
Awfully close.
that Judy's talking about, which is a decent search engine.
It's fine.
It's a decent search engine. They have a browser you can install in your mobile devices, your desktop computers. And one of the features it provides is a burn button. And right in the middle at the bottom of the screen is a burn button, and you can hit that. It's a flame. You watch flames go across. I mean, it's got a great special effect with it.
But the idea is
that is fresh and empty now.
And I gotta say
that's the approach I've been taking with generative AI. I go into an AI experience, trying to get information, using it as a tool to help me create and craft something. And it reaches a point where it's just spitting, it's just vomiting garbage, just garbage that's not helping at all. And I just burn that, and I go to a fresh one, and I take whatever I found useful from the first one, and I dump it in the next one, and it's start again. So the idea of having a burn button is
really helpful.
Was that you? That wasn't me.
No,
I've never heard that term, that tone before.
But there was.
I didn't turn this one off.
They were
this time.
talking about, and I didn't turn mine off.
They were talking
about.
Oh my gosh! My camera is a phone that I didn't turn do not disturb on.
Oh no!
I can't chastise members if I don't do the same thing.
Is that what you were doing? Chastising Jim? I was chastising you for not.
I was going to make him sit in the chair.
Was it
In the corner.
ding?
Got to put it in the corner.
I didn't hear any. I didn't hear any ding. It must have been in his head.
It must have been. But they were talking about how using AI to diagnose medical problems, and it's coming down to it's not a good way to do things. Oh, really?
Well,
it would be
I
really
think
No.
as an adjunct. No.
well,
To an
well,
extent.
well, I really think you got to wrap your heads around
what you're using.
I don't think you're going to have an AI doctor anytime soon. But a language learning model that has looked at thousands and thousands of CT scans for cancer
is going to do a
better job seeing a new one
than
even a experienced doctor. They are going to be able to highlight areas that the doctor should be looking at.
There's a YouTube video about radiologists examining x-rays, and they did a study, and they put a shape of some kind of an ape, a great ape, in one of the lungs. But the radiologists were looking for a cancerous growth, and over 80% of them did not see the ape shape in the lung.
Because they were preconceived to a very specific thing.
I think
that's how you have to look at this stuff. No, it's never going to be a doctor. If it's a doctor, it's going to make horrible decisions. It's not going to know where to go. But just like me writing programs, I know the logic I want to invoke. I don't necessarily know the best way to write that structure in this language, but I can take my logic as pseudocode, dump it into an AI, and say, write this into Google Apps script.
But that's doing a specific computer type.
Well, I'm just using
it as an example. If
you can't tell me that it's going to be a good thing in the medical field. They already.
I think the radiology is a perfect example. I think you've got a bunch of these pictures, right? And you have fed this AI. You've fed it thousands of pictures, and you've labeled them. This is all human work that's been done. You label them. This is a cancer. Look right here. That's a cancer. Look over here. This is a cancer. Look here. And this has happened thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And they have X-rays from all over the body, from all different body shapes, from all different ethnicities, from all different areas of the globe.
And you can imagine
that all that translates into experience. Like you have a radiologist looking at these things. Every time he's got a Chinese man from New York, and he's comparing it to a Canadian, I don't know, Japanese guy. He's gaining new experience on what he's supposed to be looking for.
And so after
he's looked at a dozen Japanese people living in New York, he could see there's something unique to that particular. If he's got the mind's eye to be able to see that. Most people are.
It's an adjunct. You use it in addition to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So your tool isn't AI is your cancer doctor. Your tool is, could you look at these and give me some idea if there's possibly cancer here? And the AI flips through all this knowledge. It's got like encyclopedias of knowledge.
It goes, well, you know what?
And it goes, well, you know what? These look like areas on this that I've seen before.
And that's where
AI is really going to help us, is in those aspects. Where it's not helping us is the way everybody's talking generatively about AI. It's going to drive your car, and it's going to answer the phones, and it's going to. Well, a lot of that stuff is true, but it's never the same. It's not intelligence to begin with, and it is this. I keep telling people it is a glamorified spell check. It is the exact same philosophy and technology.
It is a good analogy.
It is the same technology. It is the same thing that makes it possible to grammar check your document. That has made it possible to grammar check your radiology exam. Because they've seen so many. The predictive model is, if it's cancer, it might look like this, because I've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah. So I was watching the show, and it had a self-driving car, and the guy was sitting in the back seat, and it crashed. He couldn't get out of the back. No way to shut the car off, so it kept going back and forth. Kept hitting the same vehicle.
Oh no! Hey, Chester, go ahead. I'm sorry, I just saw your hand up.
Yeah, one of the things that occurs to me that DNA could be very useful, and that is that IA could be very useful, and that is DNA interpretation.
Yeah, you mean like in
identifying traits through DNA?
Yes, because it's more than one individual person could memorize all of the configurations that DNA may reveal.
Well, it kind of
gives
like
you,
I can see
where you're going with that, because
when you think about all the
DNA research that we've been doing, literally, let's see if we see the same genes in this person.
But if you could
gene sequence all these people of that particular aspect, Alzheimer's or obesity, if you just took their DNA and stuck it all in a language model, then the language model would be able to associate those characteristics of DNA with that characteristic of person that you're
reference.
It's kind of like that matter electricity matter. We're able to create stuff from this instead of having to identify down to the sequence. Like, let's sequence them and see if they're predisposed to breast cancer. Instead, you could take thousands of breast cancer sequences that have already been done with people that have already been diagnosed with breast cancer, and then take your DNS sequence and hand it to the machine, and it can tell you whether you have breast cancer or not.
How about in forensics? AI must have an application.
Well, that's an interesting aspect as well, because a lot of that would go right along with computational photography. Right, when you're looking at forensics, there's a lot of imagery that's going on, and again, the human eye. The reason they take pictures of like a crime scene, for example, is because the human eye misses things, and they want to go back and they want to see the exact state of it. Well, you could imagine you build enough of a library of those kinds of photos, and then you stick some photos into it. You could have an AI going, we've seen this ashtray toppled over before, or we've seen somebody.
Blood spatter.
Blood blood spatter is a better example than me. I'm sorry.
Well, no, but that's how they determined that if you have this certain angle, then you end up with this splatter.
Well,
kind
and
of
it's
thing.
Well, and it's a recent modern technology
type of science
you're talking about. That blood spatter stuff is
like
in a sense modern technology. They can take pictures, they can sit down and analyze, they can do their own tests.
But we're talking about
all that work has been done in the past. Now you can just hand the blood spatter picture to the AI, and it can tell you the angles that it came
I
from.
was a juror on a murder trial, and blood spatter, quite interesting, came into it. And one of them was, they said that he had moved his wife's body from the floor into the tub, so there was this.
Just this
Like a
swish.
draping of stuff that made it.
Yeah, I loved it because I could stare at the people because I was the juror.
Wow.
6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So AI needs to stop getting so much significance as an artificial intelligence. It's never going to be the AI that we're all familiar with right now. Never going to be intelligent. Can't possibly be intelligent. I've said this a number of times in the past. We have reached the limits with this technology. That's why it's on the market. Because
How do you define intelligence?
Well, that's
a good question.
I guess I would.
Me personally,
making
decisions for itself.
Literally
aware of the
conscious
awareness of the results of the decision that's being made.
And this can't do that. It can't open
elevator doors at the right time sometimes.
Let alone make
intelligent decisions about the repercussions of what it does.
Everything
it does is based on
a modeling
that has happened before.
So you're saying it's not learning?
It's
learning only in the extent
that your
bookshelf
can be filled up with books.
And so that's how it's learning. It's got all those books on its shelf.
And so when you
give it something that it wants to reference, it goes to those books. And your bookshelf is limited by that capacity. There's a technical capacity that a language model would end up being limited by. But that's the way that it doesn't associate all that with a common knowledge, more like common reference.
Does that make sense?
So there's no evil AI.
Well, there
are bad
moral
people making technology.
So you can't
say there isn't an evil AI. There are people out there making missiles. There are people out there providing arms to other countries that are bombing the shit out of little pissant countries. There's evil happening out there.
He's on a roll.
But what you're saying is it cannot make a moral decision.
Can't make a moral decision. That's right. Can't make
the
moral decisions that if you were to see it in technology were made by humans when they made that technology. That was their input to it.
You have to add the word yet.
Right. No, Chester, I was just going to bring up, and you'll appreciate this. Remember that the AI that Google put together got in trouble because all the founding fathers weren't white men.
Right?
They dialed their diversity inclusion button on their AI to such an extent of political correctness that they couldn't get George Washington's likeness correct
because it kept
showing up as a Japanese man.
Right, so there is
very little rationale that's going on inside there, and Congress was offended. And I'm like, this is my point. There's nothing to be scared of. They just need to dial back on the diversity inclusion button, and you'll start getting better results.
In Congress.
I
never thought of that, but
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Which scared the hell out of Congress. TikTok scared the hell out of Congress again when all these kids start calling.
Say, what are you doing
to my TikTok?
They're
in Congress going,
to the kids.
We can't stop getting phone calls from them. We've got to ban it. It's taken over our youth. But TikTok is just a great big
distraction
from the real thing that they need to be talking about, and that is regulation over all the social media, all the big tech.
There's
nothing that TikTok is doing to us that isn't being done by Google, by Apple.
Our governments
are still buying the information those companies
collect on you
so that they can do their investigations. All of that is still perfectly legal, totally acceptable in their country.
Do your daughters use it?
What's that?
What's that?
TikTok.
I've got one daughter that's a TikToker. My other daughter is more recluse, more like me.
You know, in my family, I've seen the kids veer away from it, you know, to other.
I actually feel like my kids' generation know exactly what's going on. They know exactly how much they're sharing and how they're sharing it.
We've had a couple of
when she was younger. I'm thinking my 16-year-old when she was younger and first got onto like Instagram. We had some real discussions about what we thought would be appropriate and not appropriate. So she's very conservative.
Maybe we should pay the kids to come out and help us with that.
Cheaper,
Yeah,
more knowledgeable. Go for it. Sorry.
But still, the more I am exposed to those generations and the way that they think,
they seem
to be much more prepared for this world that we've gone into than we are.
Well, they grew up with it.
They know what
oversharing is. They know what it's like to have a friend out there that doesn't want to be out there. They've experienced all this stuff so early in their life.
Thank God
goodness for my wife, because they know how to cook a little bit. I don't know what they're going to do outside of the house, but they know how to stay safe on the internet. I'm telling you that.
Wait a minute. What's cooking?
They know how to cook.
They know how to cook and do their own laundry. I taught them how to do laundry.
But as far as other
skills, they aren't well rounded.
Before I got married, Nick bought me some shirts to iron to make sure I knew how to.
Oh, really?
You did? Well, that was 66. Yeah, I did.
I'll give you the answer.
That's funny.
No, my mom
made sure I knew how to do my own laundry and knew how to cook.
He does his own ironing. There isn't much anymore.
What's an iron?
Yeah.
It's up there with cooking.
I used to know how to do laundry. Not with the new machine.
Yeah. I have a label maker, and everything we have is in Spanish, so I made a label that said this.
This button.
I like my toaster.
All right, I
am bringing up the document I sent out
because I can only
riff for so long on things that I didn't think about
without getting in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, there's some actual computer users out there.
Yeah.
But
it gets me going when I think about like what's in the news and what these politicians are wasting their time talking about, because everything they're saying about TikTok is absolutely true, and we should be absolutely concerned about it in all aspects.
For Google,
for Apple, for Microsoft, we should have regulation. TikTok shouldn't be able to operate in this country without us scrutinizing them, just like every other business that's in our country.
And I heard it.
Here I am doing it again. I heard a great argument for this
in
terms of
having the
ability to shut things down, like Facebook, Twitter,
Apple.
These are American organizations
that theoretically
we have control over. They also should have a vested interest in America because that's where they're based. Whereas we have no control over the way a foreign company works.
And
this is very specific. This argument is very specifically in terms of media in the United States. We have always had this precedence of the United States controlled media, not from a government perspective, but from a private perspective. Our media companies, our radio, our TV, our newspapers, our magazines have notoriously been U.S. and intentionally U.S. publications because we want that kind of independence. We don't want state-run
journalism,
and this guy was talking about how back in the 40s there was I think it was a German-owned radio network in the United States that was forced to sell to the United States because of the laws that we're still following now being passed, because they were concerned about foreign adversaries owning a media company in our country. And so there's precedents for forcing ByteDance to sell this company to an American stakeholder. In this respect, in this concern of media creation within our borders, we should be concerned about the way media is created in the United States.
How does it justify Radio Free Europe?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, we definitely put our stuff out there. Right.
Yeah.
But
in the Philippines,
probably the way that's justified is yes, exactly. That's why we don't want them to be able to do it in our country, right? You think about Vietnam propaganda. You think about North Korean propaganda during the war. Precisely. We don't want Vietnamese radio going on in the 60s in the United States, let alone own a chain of media outlets throughout the United States. We would never want that. We've seen what we can do in other countries. We want them doing it in our country. And so I think that's a solid argument about TikTok. But I think the more solid argument is how come we don't have control of the American companies? Why are they allowed to collect all our information? Why we've watched them manipulate to us. Yeah.
Well, the FCC.
It's what deflates the TikTok. I'm sorry, Ray. I don't mean to talk on top of you, but it is really what deflates their argument about TikTok. They have a great argument against TikTok, except every other American company is already doing it to us in the United States. So if you want to fix this problem, that's the problem to fix. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, it does, but that's not the logic that they're using to fix TikTok.
But they're using that logic to explain why they should be forcing a sale of TikTok.
I see it. It's a Chinese company.
Well,
period.
The Republicans are.
Period.
Okay. But when you ask them why is that a concern, then they give you the whole list of things that I'm giving you, and it's the exact same list of concerns we have for every American tech company right now.
When I was
so
in
it's
Brazil,
disingenuous.
they have Radio Free Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is, and it was nationalized. It was American, U.S. American.
Radio Free America starts broadcasting socialist ideas. How many radio stations are they going to be allowed to buy in the United States? It's
an interesting world. It is.
What did I put on this document I thought you guys would find interesting? Well, I put Batterygate on here for Bill and Cheryl because if you're Canadian, you might be able to get from $20 to $150.
I saw that from Apple.
Yeah, Apple has lost their case in Canada as far as their modifying iPhones to run slower with older batteries, so that
Force you to buy a new phone.
This is. I don't know if you guys remember that. This is a perfect Apple example. They're like you're doing it wrong. Like you didn't buy a new phone, so we're gonna slow down your old phone so you still are able to use it for as long as you're used to using it. Because our new software requires so much more of the phone that you're gonna be complaining about the battery dying soon. And so what we're gonna do is just slow down your phone so it doesn't die. That's all Apple. This is the right way to do it. And they didn't tell anybody. And that's why there was room for lawsuits. So when they tried to
you don't win. You know?
But if you're Canadian, and I actually know Bill and Cheryl have these model phones, then they can go to the website and sign up and get cut a check by Apple.
That's good. Yeah.
Maybe it'll come for us in the U.S. as well.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't have
to say.
that.
Tough to say. Yeah, I mean,
Totally unrelated. I
Yeah.
just got this thing from Walmart saying if you bought groceries there and it was a packaged fruit, you got it. Okay. What they were doing, the fruit was labeled, say, $8 for a bag of whatever, for a certain amount of poundage, but they didn't include the weight of the bag. So if you went through self-checkout, it weighed more than.
Oh, really?
really?
So it,
Yes.
So it had a set
Yes.
price.
So
The tear weights.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
They're on-
well, it also went for packaged meats and seafoods.
Yeah,
And
they're not
I've
carrying
heard-
it.
Yeah.
And basically, if you have your receipts, you can get $500 back or something like that. And you can turn in with no receipts. And you'll get a little teeny portion, but not the big sum.
So was it considered malice or incompetence?
Did they do it on?
Did they do it on
I don't think
purpose
that
or
was
by accident?
determined. Walmart just said, okay, you win, and
Yeah,
that was it.
it was cheaper to pay.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's pennies.
Then the
But I'm
fight
thinking
it.
about all that shrimp I bought over Christmas, all those relatives. I'm gonna check with Walmart.
See if you have your receipt.
I think I probably do.
I know my wife's supposed to be checking,
Really?
see if we have a
Really?
receipt.
What the hell?
Yeah. She saves them all.
Well, I save them too, but
Not all, I say.
And it can't be down here. It has to be Walmart.
right.
What about Sam's Club?
What about Sam's Club?
Oh, I guess you don't.
Oh, I guess you don't
No,
weigh
not
anything
down
on
here.
Sam's Club.
No, I'm just thinking.
No, I'm just thinking like they're similar organizations,
They are.
right? Aren't they?
It's
Are
the
they
same owners.
same owners?
So did they?
So did they have the same
incongruency?
incongruency in the
I'm
self
not
checkout
sure.
in the
I don't
Sam's
think
Clubs?
the Sam's have a
I don't think it was
self-checkout.
Oh yeah,
included.
they have self.
Do they?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Sam's does.
they have it
Here.
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 They have it here, yeah.
Yeah, in fact,
They have-
Yeah, in fact, I've been in there so early. I was chastised for going to have them ring it up, even though it said open,
because you're here.
because you're here too early. You have to use the self checkout.
So I went and used
Checkout, and they had to send me back twice because I kept missing
Looked
things.
at
And
them
I just
Right.
looked at them and said, "Look, I'm not trained for this.
I never.
I never learned how to be a cashier."
Lay's
I hope
keeps
they get rid
closing
of it.
down the checkout stations. I don't know if they take a break and they force you to go to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were waiting and waiting, and then they reopened one, so we went over there. and
There's a
went,
very vindictive bag lady in Lay's.
Is there?
I couldn't tip her. I didn't have the change right then. And I charged or debited the grocery store. I said, let me go out to the car, I'll be right back. And she did not like that. And I had purchased that little thing of tomato paste, the little box.
Mhm.
She stuck her fingernail in there. When I got to
Oh,
the
no.
house,
Oh no!
yeah, you could see where the nail went in. I mean, it was the perfect arc.
But you'd
And
already
a
given her
tomato
a check
paste
for-
over everything.
Well,
you're giving
Ray, you're giving perfect argument for why we should do self checkout.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I've often felt
if
like
I was a
if I was a
courtesy
courtesy
clerk,
clerk,
I would be
doing
doing as
as best a job as I could, providing ample
Service
customer
and being
service
as
and
friendly
being
as
as friendly as possible because that's my career, and I would take that seriously because my bosses are trying to take it away from
And
me.
if
And if
customers
customers recognize
you're
that
taking
you're taking your career seriously, they would be using you instead of trying to check
Do
themselves
you
out.
think it's worth the investment for them by the time they purchase the equipment?
I don't.
No, I don't. In fact, there's been a number of
stories
recently
these
of these self checkouts getting pulled out
Yeah,
they're-
good.
because they're
Yes,
creating so much animosity with their
Mhm.
customer
that they're
base
finding
that they're finding other ways to do their shopping.
They don't like
because they don't like them.
Well, that and the person at the door can't stop you.
What do you mean?
You didn't know that. When you do your self-checkout, especially in the States, there's the guy at the door that wants to look over your, smile at him and walk out the door.
Well, that's not.
Well,
Well,
he
that's
has
not
no
the case
right-
at Sam's Club.
He has no right, they're checking your receipt.
Yeah.
They have no right to stop you and they can't detain you. And that comes from the law. And also, I used to
Wait.
work for Safeway.
Well, hold
And it's
on.
illegal
Yeah.
to stop a customer unless you're security or a policeman. So they can't stop you at the door and tell you, give me your receipt and go back over it.
Well, wait.
Well, wait. Now, I would make a
What if you
caveat.
are
What if you are members of a club and you've agreed to those terms of service? Then you're setting yourself up
Walmart's not
for
a club.
liable.
Your Walmart, Safeway.
No. But I'm talking about Sam's Club, Costco. These places that do check
Those
the
are
receipts. They're different because of that. Because you've agreed that that's the way you're going.
Target was one, Safeway was one, Walmart.
Walmart in Albuquerque,
And
never, and another city, never check my receipt. I think
No.
they're profiling,
yeah.
Yeah.
because I'll see people in front of me that are Spanish.
Well, of course they do, but you don't have to show it to them.
Yeah, well.
You just walk out the door. I stare at the guy. And just keep on
You're
walking.
a man, you're a large man. I'd be intimidated. I would let you go.
I always
But
Yeah,
they
I always
can't-
got to remind
They
myself.
can't even
Yeah.
stop shopping.
I get away with a lot of stuff just being an old white guy.
There you go.
I was listening to
a comedian the other day. He said,
I don't
he said,
understand.
I don't understand these people. I know. I've got the face.
But
I do not understand these people. It is not hard
to be an
old white
right now.
guy right now.
It's just
It's
not
just
as
not
easy
as
as it
easy
was.
as it was.
Not very popular either.
Right? But my life isn't
Right.
harder right
Because
now.
I'm an old
because I'm
white
an old
guy.
white
It's
guy.
just
It's
not
just
as
not as easy as it used
And
to be.
that
And that
distinction
distinction is very important to make
because
because that's what these people are really upset about.
Is it's just
It's just not as easy as it used to be.
I thought
I
resemble that.
I
You can
resemble
sell
that remark.
Bibles.
But back to self-checkout at Sam's
Yeah.
Club.
Yeah.
So they get really annoyed if they send me to self-checkout because I have a US Sam's card. So then they have to come over and punch in the code. And then if I can't figure out what the code is for the item, they have to come back.
Oh, we didn't have
Right.
a problem the other day. We just used the card.
Oh, it's swiped
Oh.
right through?
2 years ago, they made us purchase
No,
a
they
local.
they
Yeah.
cannot make
And
you
so
do
we
that.
haven't renewed it.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, they can't make you
No,
do that.
because it says right there, your Sam's Club card is good worldwide, and so is your Costco.
And it
Mhm.
seems
And it seems like
A long
for
time
a long time there,
you had
you had to.
Costco.
It was the Costco card. The
card
Costco card would throw off their machines, and you'd be like, "No, you got to add a digit
because it's
because it's a U.S. card."
And he
No,
did.
there was-
No, there was. I can't remember what the digit was, but you had to add a digit, and then they
Oh,
would.
yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, okay, and then
To
it would
use
ring
my-
through.
Mexican Costco card in the States, they have to put in a /7 first.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I tell them that before I check out. This is international.
Yeah.
You need to put in
And
/7.
also with Costco, you can return it worldwide.
Mhm.
Wherever you bought it, you can go to any other Costco and they'll give you your money back for the item.
That's interesting.
I use my daughter's.
Which
No
works
problem.
out good is if you buy it in Oregon
Mhm.
and return it in California because they give you back sales tax.
But
you're
that
saying we
happens
can return it
at the
here
two
too.
different Costco's in Colorado Springs. One charges more. They're in a different tax
Yeah.
location.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Oh, that's wild.
You could buy.
So you could
like,
buy in one place
return it
and
in
return it in another place.
Yeah, and make a
I
few
don't know if
cents.
you'd-
I don't know if you.
I wound up
Is
returning
it
a
worth the
monitor
drive?
that I bought in
Yeah.
Oregon. Because it had marks on it. I returned it to San Francisco. Walked out and went, damn, I can get the more expensive monitor now.
They gave you back the tax money you didn't pay in the first place.
Yes.
All right. Well, what else?
All
do
right.
I-
What else do I have in this
Things I
list
thought
of
you-
things I thought you guys would
Oh,
find
you
interesting?
back on
Yeah,
computers?
yeah.
Yeah.
I emailed you an article a few days ago, but I don't remember what it was about, but it was computer related.
Didn't know.
Good to know.
Yeah.
It didn't end up in my lineup for some reason. I don't think.
I said, this would be good for computer. Why am I here?
How about what do you think is the best
Did you
operating
check your
system on a
spam?
TV?
The best
The
operating.
best operating system in the TV is the computer you plug into the TV.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hear.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like, is it
Like is it WebOS? Is it Tyson? Is it
whatever, but the operating system, Android, Google, Fire, Roku.
Well,
Those are your
Well, the
choices.
first three are the same operating system.
Just about.
Yeah.
It's
It's
They have
Android
different
versus
priorities,
Roku.
though.
Android.
You got Android, Roku, and iOS. Those are the
Those are the ones you.
ones you.
Wait a minute. I have a Roku TV in Tucson. The Fire Stick won't work on that?
Oh, it
Should,
will.
yeah.
You plug it into the USB port.
If you're talking
Yeah.
about
If you're talking about embedded operating systems,
Yes.
I've been really happy with the Roku
Roku,
operating system.
yeah.
I have. I've just had great experiences with it. We've got Roku TVs
in the bed and
in the
breakfast.
bed and breakfast, no set-top boxes, no special.
Plug it right.
Plug it right into the wall for power. Everything else is there.
You got the Roku.
You got the Roku TV, comes right through. You don't have to have anything but the Roku account to set up.
Except you can't sideload anything.
Well, you
You can side load applications that are built for Roku,
but
Yeah.
but
you say
when you say that, you can't load Android apps.
That's what you're
You
saying.
can't
That's
load
what you're saying.
Kodi.
Right, it's an Android.
Right, it's an Android
Or
application.
Windows,
So-
or Windows, or
Well, right.
Well, right.
iOS. It
They
has
are
them
not.
all.
That's
Again,
those are different operating
Yeah.
systems.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the customer uses their own account on Roku, or do you just provide an account and then what if they
Oh,
charge a movie?
We don't have.
We don't have a credit card associated with anything.
So
So
the
the TVs are associated with one particular Roku account. I mean, not that they couldn't just sign it out and sign into their own
Yeah.
Roku account if they wanted to.
Because I tried guest mode and I could not get out of it.
I don't know about.
Well,
that.
I don't know about that.
Another issue.
But
It must be me.
guests show up.
Guests show up and they're able to stream to the TV, so they can use their mobile device or their laptop. They can use our high-speed internet to access their Netflix or whatever it is they
So
need.
you think Roku's better than the Fire or a straight Google or a straight Android?
Oh, I wouldn't do a straight Google at all.
Not-
I mean,
not
not unless it came in a set-top box. I wouldn't buy a TV with Google TV.
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
Or
I have no confidence that they're going to
maintain
that system as long as you're accustomed to owning a TV,
right.
right? I have more confidence that within that 10-year period,
more
features will disappear and more intrusive behavior will continue.
You'll end up with
So you'll end up with more ads and less things you can do with that TV set.
I was trying to reset the Roku in the apartment.
Yeah.
And I kept pushing this button. And it turns out it was find your remote.
No,
No, that's awesome.
You didn't have your glasses
what's that
on.
beeping in the other room?
Every time I touch this.
So I got the flashlight out and I
Yeah,
found
yeah.
the reset button underneath.
but
Same color.
and that's all.
And that's all my own personal speculation on this stuff. But I would rather have a solid
monitor,
regardless of
regardless
the operating
Yeah.
system it
Well, I
came
would go
with. So I would go
Samsung or
for a
Roku
Samsung or
base
Roku for the
operating
base operating
and then
system.
I want
And then I want to plug in the
really
things that I really want
plug
to
in
do.
a
So I'd
Fire
plug in a Fire Stick or an Apple TV or a Chromecast,
something like that.
something
It'd
like
be
that.
nice just to get a dumb TV with USB ports on it.
That's-
They don't make
I-
them anymore.
I still have one in
I have,
Colorado.
Yeah, I still have one.
One
That's
of
in the
mine up
apartment.
north is like that.
It's
It's
the
fine.
market is-
The market has changed. TV manufacturers are in the data brokerage business.
Yeah.
And so every one of your TVs is just a window into your information so that they can.
But you're right about a dumb TV with a
Mhm.
USB port. It works fine.
Or-
Leave it alone. you know?
Yeah, the HDMI.
HDMI.
Yeah, I think
that there is.
whenever you talk
to consumers, that's what we're in the market.
screen,
A screen,
HDMI
inputs, a USB hub for power,
Yeah,
and
Wi-Fi,
that's it.
that's
I want to bring my own smarts to it.
and I think that's
part of this passive smart that I'm always preaching. Is like
refrigerator
a refrigerator is a refrigerator is a refrigerator. If it can save me a few dollars
on smart.
great, that's great. But if the smart dies, it should still keep my milk cold.
There's
Yeah.
There's absolutely no reason a motherboard should die and my milk should get warm.
That's true.
It's only out
It's
of
only out of
Does it tell you when the door is left open too long?
Sure.
Sure.
Mine
Yeah,
does.
Mine does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but what if-
figure out
but what if
it
that-
was for the longest
Beep,
time.
beep,
Where
beep,
is it?
But Ray,
what if
what if the beeper dying is the reason that you can't? It's not because the door is open. The door is closed. But the beeper no longer works, and that's the principal board. And
Yeah.
now your milk is going
Right.
sour because
Yeah.
it won't get cool.
That's no way.
That's no way to design this technology. Refrigerators, stoves,
Washers,
dishwashers, microwaves. These things have been around long enough.
My washing machine has Wi-Fi. I shut that off. I don't need to tell it
All
remotely
we
to
need
start
for
washing.
certain things are basic functions. Why add all this crap on? I'm sorry. It's like some of the automobiles lately. Just get me from A to B.
No, I want all the science
Okay, you
stuff,
go back and take a nap.
I am looking forward to that someday. I wouldn't be napping. I'd be surfing the internet or something.
They have that commercial on TV about the, okay, don't touch anything. Oh my God, it's driving me. I'm so thrilled. Really?
Yeah, there's questions.
Have you seen other drivers out there?
Although I know people that question cruise control.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
You are in control.
unless
Oh,
it,
I use it all the time.
I do
Yeah.
too.
I have
But-
smart cruise control where it'll slow down.
I do too.
That's cool.
That's
I
cool.
love,
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, mine doesn't.
Yeah, this is
Well-
219. I love all the safety.
You
When we
were talking about AI and how we're not too conscious decision making. That's what AI is really going to end up looking like to us. Your smart car is going to be a collection of all these technologies that translates into our minds as something, some artificial intelligence controlling that vehicle.
What it really
But what it really is thousands of processes that are all happening and give you the simulated experience of somebody that's making decisions.
Without a
little
moral
red car.
judgment.
No moral judgments.
Should I pass it? No, he's
It has a
wrong.
hand
It's a cop car.
It does have Wi-Fi. I added it. Yeah, there's a radio in the trunk
Yeah.
that connects to my phone.